Hi everyone, it's Ashley at Tea Garden Paper Crafts, and welcome back to the Fairy Wings and Forgotten Things collab. Today is day 23, and I am your fairy guide for today. This is my final video for this tutorial. I will be doing a video at the end of the collab to go through the whole journal that I made using all of the prompts, but this is my final tutorial video and my final video where you will see my token. So today we are making something really special. We are making paper dolls. Um, all of my three projects that I have made for this tutorial and the collab have been kind of inspired by childhood. My first one was a note folding technique, for which I turned into a hidden journaling card. My second one was making paper snowflakes, and now we're doing paper dolls. So I think this is a really fun way to add a fairy of your own design into the journal. So I'm going to show you how to make one similar to her. So my next one, I want her to be greens and yellows and golds and pearl. So I've gathered a few supplies here. My ladies are actually cut out from old sewing patterns, from the covers of old sewing patterns. And then I printed out some of my moth freebies from last month, which you can find in my Facebook group. And those are going to be her wings. So first and foremost, what I want to do is I want to color in her top a little bit. Her top, I think, is a little too bright of a yellow, so I want to add a little bit of gold to kind of knock that back a little bit. So I'm going to do that first. I'm doing this with a metallic gel pen. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole top yet, or if I'm just going to do like the borders of her shirt. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I'll kind of decide as I'm going. I used to make paper dolls a lot when I was a kid. I made them with my grandmother, and they are something I remember very fondly. She also used to collect paper dolls, so we would play with those. I also loved playing with Barbies at her house. She had my mother's old Barbies. And so I would play with those, and those were very, very special to me. So dolls have always been kind of something special. I even had a collection of porcelain dolls in my room, which I did hate. They were not my favorite, but I was very happy to get rid of them when I was an adult. But I know some people really, really like porcelain dolls. I also had American Girl dolls. So, your typical childhood for a girl growing up in the 90s. I had my American Girl dolls. I had Samantha, and I don't remember who the other one I had was, but Samantha was my favorite. I actually really like that with just doing the collar and sleeves, or cuffs of the sleeves. I think I'm going to leave that. Now I grabbed out some tissue paper in case I wanted to cover her top, because that's what I did for this one, is I actually used some tracing paper to trace the top, because this one had a really ugly top on it. But I actually really like this top, so I don't think that's going to be necessary. So I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take my piece of paper here. I have a piece of book page. I think this is from The Greatest Generation. Maybe it was a high school book, a book that I had to read in high school, and yeah, I have kept it all of these years. So I think what I want to do is I want it to be underneath her elbow here. So let me grab, where are my scissors? Oh, there are my scissors. I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to very carefully cut around her elbow. up to about her waist, because I want to bring her skirt up to her waist. Perfect. Okay. And then, so what you want to do is you want to kind of figure out what skirt type you want. So like for her, I made it more like a trumpet skirt, but it's got like individual petals. So it's actually made out of book page that I cut into individual petals. But hers, I think I want to make more of a one piece, or like a, not a one piece, but like more of a A-line style. So I've got my pencil here. And we're going to kind of trace in where her waistline would be. And then I can kind of decide what shape I want from there. Let's go with a kind of something like this. And then I can just keep comparing here to see get a feel for how it might look. So we're going to try something like this. And I mean, the nice thing is that I can always grab another book page if I don't like the shape. And I will erase my pencil marks because I might see some of the book page. I'm not super concerned about the erasing the pencil. I'm going to erase it just so that it's not super dark. But if a little bit of it is there, I'm not super concerned because I am going to be covering it with my doily. I got these super bright doilies in a grab bag from the thrift store. Okay. I might do another layer underneath to make this a bit longer. Or I could do, I also have this piece of paper dyed doily, or coffee dyed doily. I could do something like that for the top of her skirt, do this one, and then do another layer and make it kind of a layered tiered skirt. And I think I like that actually. So I think what I might do, bring my paper back here. And do something like that. Okay. So I think I'll make this doily my bottom layer. Let's set her aside. And then I will put glue stick all over my book page here. And then I will take my doily. Now, yes, you will have a little bit of glue that sticks through, but I just use my tissue paper to help push it down to the adhere it to the book page really well. And if you use the more waxy side, the shiny side of the tissue paper, it comes off nice and clean, and then you don't have to worry about it sticking too much. There we go. Now I will flip this over and trim it out. I love these these super bright doilies with the flowers and the butterflies that I got. I have no idea where they're from. They didn't have packaging or anything like that, but they came in all sorts of bright colors. Bright pink, which I used for my other fairy, green, blue, yellow. Okay, I love that. That's perfect. So then we will do this one. And this one, I was thinking about maybe using my fabric here to make a couple layers of like pleats, like a pleat look, which I really think will be fun. I'm not sure if the glue stick will be strong enough for this, but we're going to try it, and if it's not, then I can always grab my Fabri-Tac. So I'm going to start by putting a nice coating of glue stick down, and then kind of line this up. Yeah, cool. Okay. I think it's thin enough. Okay. And then I will just trim up just a little bit around the side here, just to kind of keep that rounded shape. And then we'll cut that piece off there. Perfect. Okay. And then I think we'll do that side. Lovely. Let's cut that one off. Okay, and trim up this side a little bit. There we go. I'm going to try and put a little bit of glue right there just to get that piece to stick down a little bit better. And then we'll do our center. There we go. I apologize if you can hear my daughter shouting this morning. She's having a little bit of a rough morning. She's 2.5, and it's very hard to be 2.5. All right. I may need to use a little bit of Fabri-Tac to like kind of tack down the sides here, but I'm overall pretty happy with that. And then I'm going to trim up my bottom here because I do want my bottom to kind of keep that rounded shape. Okay. And then I think I will glue that on right there. So we'll apply our glue to our bottom layer here. And then layer that on. And then we'll trim up this side just to make the skirt nice and even. I think I'm going to trim off just that little bit of excess trim on the side here just to kind of trim the skirt up. Yeah, that looks good. And I'll do that on the other side here. Oh, I love the way this is turning out. Okay. Let me set the rest of my ribbon aside here. And then I think I'm going to do something like that. Yeah, that would be really cute. Okay. Now this one I'm going to glue directly onto this coffee doily. And then I will kind of line this up here. Like that. Give that a trim. It's wanting to fold on me because everything, all the layers are still wet. Normally I would let this dry before trimming everything up, but because I'm trying to do this on a video and get it done for the video, it's a little bit tougher. Okay. There we go. There's her skirt. I love the way this looks. This is so cute. So let's bring our fairy back in. And let's fit her skirt to her. I think just like that would be perfect. Okay. Oop. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my glue to her waist here. Keep her elbow folded up. And then gently pull her out until I'm happy with where she is. There we go. Okay, and then I think I want to give her a little bit of waist detailing. So I've got some sticky pearl here. And I'm going to do this in individual lines, so that way I can kind of conform it, like form it to her waist. So let's get our sticky backing off and get our paper backing off here. And I know that this sticks out much further than her waist. I will fix that, but first I kind of want to get that. And then I'll come in and just kind of shape that down a little bit more there. And then I'm going to do another line of pearls. There are tons and tons and tons of tutorials on YouTube for making paper dolls. So this one is just my take on them. You do not have to do them exactly the same way that I'm doing them. You can do them in your own way, do them using your own colors, what you have on hand. These are just some supplies that I had that I wanted to kind of use up, and also I thought would look really pretty. There we go, just like that. I think maybe one more row of pearls. Like that. Yeah, I really like that. Okay. Now I had these big pearls. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use them or not. I thought that they could be fun accents along the bottom here, but I actually think that I really like her skirt just the way it is. Let me tuck. I'm going to glue her elbow down now to the skirt, and then I'm also going to glue her arm under her skirt here. And then I want to take one of these little tiny flower punches, I think. I was planning on putting it in her hair, but I don't like the little stem, so I'm going to cut that off and put a little bit of glue. And I actually think I'm going to use it on this side, because if you could see, there was a little bit of tear. There was a tiny tear in her pattern. So I think I'm going to use that to cover up her tear without covering up her eye. There we go. Yeah, I like that. And then maybe take the center, tiny, tiny center out of the other one, because it's got a little bit more detail. And put that there to give it a little bit more layering. It's subtle, but it's there. All right. For those of you who are playing along with the challenge, your token today is the fairy. If you couldn't tell because we're making fairy paper dolls, here is your token, the fairy. Now let's make her into a fairy. Let's give her her wings. So I'm just going to put some glue along the back of her here. Line her up where I want her wings to go. And there she is. Let me get this garbage off of my desk here so you can kind of take her in her glory for a moment. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to shake my camera there. And then here is her friend. So there are my fairies. Like I said, this is my final tutorial, but there they are. Aren't they beautiful in all their glory? I love the way that she turned out. I can't wait to add her to my journal. And I hope that you've taken some inspiration from this video, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you everyone who's been participating in this collab. We've been working on it for about 2 months. We actually started working on it towards the end of June-tober, and this has been so much fun. And thank you to Tracy from Lottie's Magic Attic for hosting this amazing collab, and to all of the amazing designers, the other 4 designers besides Tracy who've also been participating. Peach Domino, Nate at Peach Domino, Kim at It's a Crafty Life by Kim, I believe Crafty Dragon Creations is also a part of this. I'm forgetting that. I'm forgetting someone, but they will all be linked in the description below. All of our kits are 50% off through the end of September, and many of us, our freebies for this collab will be coming down at the end of September as well. So make sure that you are grabbing all of your freebies, grabbing kits while they're still on sale before things start disappearing and go back to full price. And I hope you've really enjoyed yourself. I know I've really been enjoying myself, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you.